Hey there. Let me start off by saying that despite its history, the Ayasofya is owned and run by the Turks, and it has been for over 500 years now. The structure is on Turkish soil, and its upkeep and operation is paid for by the Turkish government. As far as I'm concerned, they have the right to do whatever the hell they want to do with it. Western complaints about this sort of thing always come with a tinge of imperialism and the idea that we get to decide what other people do on their own territory. That idea is something we should reject. All that said, Friday's announcement by the Turkish government that they will finally, after talking about it for decades, be turning Ayasofya back into a mosque makes me kind of sad. It strikes me as a failure on all sides. Ayasofya was built almost 1,500 years ago by Justinian, the most powerful of the Byzantine emperors. It survived as a church until Constantinople was conquered by the Ottomans in 1453. It then spent just under 500 years as a mosque. In 1934, Ataturk, the modernizing founder of Turkey, turned it into a museum. I lived in Turkey from 2011 to 2016, and Ayasofya is probably my favorite building in the world. After a year or so of hosting tourists, I refused to go to the Topkapi Palace or the Basilica Cistern any longer. But I would just keep going to Ayasofya no matter what. If I went too long without visitors, I would just go myself. Something about the grand mix of the building with the names of the rightly guided caliphs right next to those creepy old-school Greek mosaics of angels just embodied history to me. It's not yet clear whether visitors have lost the ability to marvel at all these artworks. Everything depends on the implementation. Will the old mosaics be whitewashed over for another couple hundred years, or will they be temporarily shielded during Muslim religious services? It's easy to imagine clever ways to get the building to serve spiritual and cultural purposes. But it's undeniable that something will be lost by turning it back into a religious building. Ataturk's choice to turn the Ayasofya into a museum was only the most visible sign of Turkey's new orientation in the 1920s and the 1930s. For almost a century, Turkey pursued a path of openness and fervent modernization. There were many ups and some horrifying downs, but on balance, it was an extraordinarily successful policy. 100 years ago, Turkey managed to stave off an attempt to wipe out their country by tiny Greece, but it was a close-run thing. Today, Turkey regularly goes toe-to-toe with Russia, a former superpower. Population is not everything, of course, but over the past century, Turkish citizens have also experienced impressive gains in literacy, the economy, and a whole range of other metrics as well. Ataturk's policy of openness and modernization has been an incredible success. Ayasofya's reversion to a mosque may be a sign that this policy is ending. It's common to blame Turkish President Erdogan for the rupture between his country and the West, but we are at fault too. Erdogan may have had ulterior motives, but he spent most of the first decade of his time in power working diligently to meet the requirements for accession to the European Union. Those efforts to join the EU have been rejected for decades now. Turks have watched as country after country that didn't even exist when Turkey first applied have been admitted to the Union. In 2011, Turkey volunteered to help the United States overthrow Assad in Syria. They were repaid by the U.S.'s cozying up to a terrorist group dedicated to Turkey's geographical dismemberment. Ayasofya's transition does make me a little sad. It probably is a sign of Turkey's rupture with the West. But we abandoned Turkey just as much as Turkey abandoned us. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe and click the bell next to the subscribe button to get updates whenever I upload a new video. Thanks.